Hello, strong people. It is week 7, day 2 of off-season work leading into the Olympic City Pro-Am prep. It's deadlift day, one of my favorite days. We got some light speed pulls with the axle and some bands. So, still, we're going to take it a little bit easy. It was last week, this week, and then next week on the deadlifts. Still do deadlifts, obviously, but keep it a little bit light, more speed before we jump into anything heavy. Just because the deadlift is bothering my trap, neck, shoulder area, my right side, and I'm going to the chiro for, I went last week, going tomorrow, and then going next week. And after that, we should be fairly back to normal, hopefully, and we can resume our scheduled programming. So, I haven't done axle deads from the floor in a long time. I'd actually have to look just to be sure. I know the last time that I actually had it in a competition, it was part of a medley, and it was very light at that point. It was like 540 pounds. So it was like that, then a frame, and then a deadlift, a regular deadlift. But that was my third competition, I think, maybe fourth. So it's been, it's been years since I've actually trained for a deadlift from the floor, an axle deadlift from the floor. So I'm pretty excited. This shouldn't be much of a problem today. Hope not. It's going to be a little bit difficult adjusting to pulling an axle from the floor, because I've pulled it from 13, 18 over the last couple years. And honestly, I'm so tired of elevated pulls. They're not my favorite. They're kind of a pain. I just like a standard height deadlift. And luckily, that's what we got. So I think I have 5 sets of 3 between 420 pounds and 460 pounds with the red bands. So I'm just ready to get into it. Let's do it. All right, deadlifts are done. I'm happy with that. I don't know what would have been planned today had I not been told to go kind of light on deadlifts by the chiro, but I'm really glad that we did stay light for some speed pulls. There was 2 reasons. I'm trying to remember what the other one was now. I know one of the reasons was because I tweaked my form here recently, and I had my feet turned out a little bit more, maybe a little bit wider, and it allowed me to sit back a little bit more when I pull. And although it made me slow off the floor, that was the other thing. We'll get there. That was the other thing I was meaning. But doing lighter sets like this, it allows you to kind of dial in form. And because I tweaked mine recently, made a little bit of adjustment, I think that this is what I needed to kind of dial in what I needed, dial in what wasn't quite feeling right. And it was a little bit funky there. I still, even after those 5 sets, it still wasn't quite what I wanted it to be. It didn't feel as good, but that's okay. I mean, I got time to figure it out. They felt speedy, but I know they can be faster. So mentally, it's a little bit challenging because I know that I'm faster off the floor than that, but I need to be okay with being a little bit slower off the floor right now until I adjust to the new starting position, and my lockout's better because of this new starting position. So it's just a bit of an adjustment that we have to get used to. So that's no big deal. And then the speed off the floor thing was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Because they're speed deadlifts, and I've been slow off the floor from the start with the form tweak, I needed to work on speed off the floor anyway, kind of engaging my legs from the very start, which I haven't really been good at over the years. So I definitely feel my legs a little bit more pumped up than they would normally be for deadlifts. I usually wouldn't get much of my quads would never be sore for deadlifts. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. It was a little bit strange getting used to the axle again. It's obviously, it doesn't bend. There's no flex. It's thicker, so it's at a bit of a deficit, and it's out in front of you a little bit more because it's wider. Just a tough bar to use, but I'm happy with it. I'm excited to see what we end up pulling come March. We'll see. If you're watching this, I'm curious. What do you think I'll pull? Maybe, I don't ask, for comments ever. So I'm curious. If anybody is watching this, what do you guys think I'll pull? Because I have no idea. But next exercise, we have Dimmel deadlifts. So you're probably not too familiar with Dimmel deadlifts. And I'm going to show you what they are. Dimmel deadlifts are done. That was a nice alliteration. Anyway, it was only 2 sets of 12. I hope I counted to 12 right. On the first set, I kept, they're supposed to be fairly light, but 225 was probably a little bit too light. So I threw on a 25 on each side for that next set. And these have helped me a lot with my lockouts. I mean, that's what it's meant to work on. In a sense, it's a rack pull. It's a speed rack pull without the rack. That's the best way I could describe it. So pretty much you're dropping the bar, catching it, and locking it back out. It's generally what it is. There's more to it than that, but it definitely incorporates the glutes more than I typically would, because it's just that top portion to lift. There's nothing else to really focus on there. So I need that as an accessory fairly often. I've gotten used to it. It's not my favorite, but it needs to be done, and it's not too taxing or anything crazy like that. It's just one of those things you got to do. So next, SSB split squats and some pin swings. I hate split squats so much, but we're going to do it, I guess. I cannot go heavy on these. Whatever it is, I don't know if it hurts my groin. It hurts to go heavy on this. I've bothered my hips doing it. It's just kind of an awkward movement for me, but I'm still going to do it. It's 2 sets of 12 for each. So what I'll probably do is do a set of split squats, do a set of pin swings, and not quite superset, but you know what I mean. Do them back and forth, but not rush to do them right after another. All right, let's get to it. split squats and what else did I do? Oh, pin swings are done. That first set on split squats is a little rough looking. I know it looks kind of weird, but it is annihilating my quads. I know it probably looks like I'm pushing myself up and down, but I'm not. I'm just leaning all that weight onto my quad to try to get as much on it as possible. And I'm just stabilizing myself so I don't fall over, of course. So it looked a little bit rough, but it felt my quad. When I stood up after that one set, I was like, wow, that got pumped fast. Pin swings were pin swings. They're fine. I did realize just now that I was supposed to do sets of 10 and not sets of 12. Sad. Makes me sad. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the last exercise I'm going to show you guys today. It's called pendlay rows. I used pendlay rows every single deadlift session for the first 3 years of my lifting. I would deadlift and then I would pendlay row. The way that I learned to pendlay row was from this Dr. Deadlift, Kaylor Woolham, Mark Bell collab, where when Kaylor did it, he was putting quite a bit of body English into it to move the weight. I don't actually know how my coach wants them to be done. So I think a good happy medium. Some body English, they're not bodybuilding rows. In a sense, they're power rows is what some people might call them, I guess, but I've seen people call them pendlay rows when they just dead stop on the floor and pull from that position. The ones that I know and love use some leg drive out of the bottom. And that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use some leg drive. I haven't done these in a long time. I'm pretty excited to do it. I'm going to do it with the axle bar just because I already have it loaded from the demos. And it's what I'm going to be using for the next 12 weeks or however long. So let's get into it. 3 sets of 10, I believe. I probably won't show all of them. I'll show probably one. Let's do it. All right, I'm going to call the video there. I did that one set. I'm going to do my 2 more, but I'm not going to bother recording. And for the rest of the accessories, I'm just going to get them done. It's getting kind of late and cold, and I'm ready to be done. So it's kind of time to power through. Whew. I can tell it's been a while since I've done those. I can tell it's been a while since I've handled that type of volume on kind of a lower body movement in general. Deadlifts, everything, but all over the last 6-7 weeks now, the off season, it's been just work up to a top set for the most part. So I haven't done any major sets and reps. It's been work up, be done with the top set, do a back down set, and that's it. It's not like the 5x3 or 8 sets of 3 or anything like that. So there's not it in a way, it's a lot of volume either way, but staying at that top weight for multiple sets, even though it's speed deadlifts tonight, just because I haven't done many pulls from the floor or anything recently, especially with an axle, it beat me up a little bit. Definitely a little bit fatigued. I also probably didn't eat enough today. Maybe not. I don't know. It was a fine training day. At this point, I don't think I hydrated very well because I did cramp up a little bit during the split squat, so I got some more water in me. And we're good now. I'm just getting tired. Been here a little while. So that's enough talking. I'm going to finish up this workout and then do the usual post-workout routine. Shower, food, And then probably dogs, take the dogs out. Usual stuff. The stuff normal people do every night. You know, I'm running out of things to say. I think I'm getting a little bit loopy. So I'm going to call the video there. Tomorrow's a rest day. Got another trip to the chiropractor tomorrow. And then hopefully it feels better. And I won't turn up the TENS unit nearly as high as it was last time if he chooses to do the same thing. That stuff actually like welted my skin up because I had the electrostim. That's probably a better, maybe more well-known word for it. TENS unit, electrostim, whatever you want to call it. I had it up way too high and it like welted my skin. So let's not make that mistake again. And hopefully it goes well. So until next time, go out, get strong, stay strong, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.